What's up, pretty gang? Welcome back to my channel. It's your favorite nail tech, Peaches, of course, back with another video. Okay, so here's the thing. I asked y'all to vote yesterday. Do y'all want a milk bath set or do y'all want a foundational, like, hey, here's how to do a really, really good basic set? Y'all voted for milk bath, but the crazy thing is my milk bath video clips got deleted, like trash emptied on the computer, nothing I can do. Okay, so before we get into this video, let's do our subscriber shout out. Today's subscriber is Your Highness Nails, subscribed since January 20th. Y'all already know. Turn on them damn notifications, subscribe, all of that, okay? So today's video is actually gonna be about how to deal with clients who have a lot of extra cuticle skin, okay? So obviously, we're gonna go step by step, but the first step is gonna be push the skin back. So you guys can see, right? I'm not forcing my way to like pushing her cuticle area back, but you can see it's got a little oomph to it. You know what I'm saying? All that white that's coming off, that is what is the cuticle skin, okay? I know I've said it before, but the cuticle is actually that skin we cannot see that is on the nail plate, okay? The rest that we push back is called the eponychium, and that is the skin that protects your fingernails and your fingers from getting infection, disease, etc., etc. So you can see the starting point. She has a lot of skin that's very stuck on her nail plate. Now, some people like to wet the skin down and do this. I personally don't. I feel like it's an extra step you don't need. Please be gentle and take your time. You have to do this. I'm not gonna lie. Some people, they will just go ahead and use different drill bits to go ahead and just file the skin away. I feel like that's a little bit dangerous sometimes because you do run the risk of accidentally cutting the person. I like to use a cuticle pusher because then I'll be able to tell exactly what skin is live and what skin is dead. See, this is why I be telling people go to nail school, because this is the stuff that you learn, not how to place no kind of acrylic, but like it ain't about that, right? I know that this skin is dead because, well, number one, it's coming off of the plate and flaking away. But number two, I'll show you in a second. Look at how that skin is buckled up. Okay, look how dull it is in color. You see how much lighter it is? That's telling me that that's not live skin. So if I nick that or cut that, she's not gonna bleed for the most part, okay? There is exceptions, but we're just gonna leave it at that. So next we're gonna finish off our prep, and we are gonna go ahead, well, not finish off our prep, but I mean finish off the portion before the tips go on. Filing with the e-file to prep the nail bed. Now pay attention how I do this, right? I'm kind of pushing back the cuticle area in a way. Even though we already pushed it back, I still want to make sure that I file and prep underneath that bit of skin, because here's the real tea. The acrylic is gonna have to fit under that, okay? I personally do not have any problems or troubles when I use these techniques I'm getting ready to show you. I don't have problems with lifting, none of that, okay? So you can see I'm taking my time prepping the nail bed. Why? Well, not the nail bed, the plate. But why? Because I need to make sure that every bit of that dead skin is gone. If we wouldn't have pushed up the cuticle, right, and we wouldn't have got rid of that flaky white that you guys saw, the acrylic would have been just sitting on top of that. And not to mention, if you don't push back the cuticle area, the eponychium area, what's going to happen is when you lay acrylic down, it's going to be down way further than you need it to be. So when you go back and file, a lot of that skin is going to actually file away later, and it's going to look like the client needs a fill. So that's why I really wanted to do this type of video, because I know it's actually kind of difficult for people to deal with clients that have a lot of extra skin. Some people get scared to get rid of the skin, like, things like that. And it can just be difficult if you're inexperienced, or even if you are experienced, it can still be difficult. You know what I'm saying? So take your time. I personally like to prep on a lower speed, like in the 3000 RPMs, or if you don't have it saying RPMs on your drill, maybe like no more than like the third notch, like speed notch. But the thing is, when you're dealing with skin like this, and she also does have a wider nail bed, it may look like her nails are small, but they are not, okay? I did turn the speed up a little bit so that way I can make sure all that skin is flaked off and we can continue pushing up any more of the cuticle area. Okay, so once again, do you see how the skin now around her eponychium is kind of buckled up? So in the next step, I'm going to show you how to get rid of some of that. But the thing is, we also want to save on time and not be here all day doing this. So at a certain point, I no longer worry about it and I move on to application, because later on when I file around the acrylic, the e-file is going to further flake away some of this skin. It sounds crazy, and I'm not talking about, oh, I'm going in with like a little ball bit or like a skiver bit or like, you know, things like that. No, I mean just the actual motion, because once the acrylic is there, it's no longer like exactly flush with the actual nail plate. So the angle that the drill has to go around to seal the cuticles, it will also touch on some of this dry and dead skin. Okay, so after I go ahead and do this, I put the tips on. I don't show you guys, but just as a reference, her pinky finger is like the size of some people's like ring finger. Okay, so her pinky is like a size 5. So I like to take cuticle scissors. I do not use nippers. When I learned how to do nails, nippers are actually illegal in California, unless that has changed. I'm not really sure. I don't believe it has. You can easily cut somebody with nippers. And these scissors, right, after I do this, I'm gonna put them in my like to be disinfected box. I can't use this on anybody else, even if I did not cut her. Okay, so do you see how with cuticle scissors, right, it's very easily gets a hold and a grasp on what needs to be cut away, and that's it. With nippers, remember, there should not be no tugging. You should be going around clipping just how I'm using these scissors. Okay, like there should be no tugging of that skin. But do you see how I can tell the skin is dead? Because look how dull it is. Look how when I clip it, it just kind of flakes away. You need to please be careful, because if you are not a licensed nail tech, you may not know the difference between dead skin and live skin. Live skin being, hey, if I cut you, you're gonna bleed. That skin is alive. Sometimes you can go too far and you will actually cut someone and make them bleed, which is why after I get this initial, like, you know, most of it gone, I'm not going to worry about it, and I'm going to let the e-file worry about it later on. Because at the end of the day, sometimes you think something is dead skin and it might turn out to not be, or the scissors might go a little bit too far. Anything. You don't want to risk that. So you can already see how much better everything looks and how much cleaner it looks just off of these couple steps alone. Now, taking care of clients and doing all of this prep is an essential step of doing nails, period. Okay, because you see how much better it already looks? Yes. Okay, yes. So the color we're going to use is called Dare You by Not Polished, because you already know if it's not polished, it's not nothing, never will be, never has been. Monomer, Young Nails, because I'm a Young Nails girl. So you guys are going to watch me do application on a couple of fingers. Now, I'm not going to lie. The application on the pinky, I don't want to say it was bad, but this second bead I put here is a little too wet. So you're going to go ahead and watch me play with that. And besides just having a regular application, nothing's going to be different, except for I tend to like to drag the bead. Well, not drag. I like to push it up towards the cuticle area a little bit more, in a way. Just because I already know there is a lot, well, possibly not a lot, but there is some nail that's hidden under some of that skin still that I need to make sure that I tuck the acrylic into. So I like to push the bead up a little bit further towards the cuticle area, so that way when I do put that cuticle bead in, the apex and everything will match up. Okay, so also keep in mind that when you are dealing with clients that do have a lot of excess cuticle skin and just skin in general, a lot of times it is a smaller nail bed. So you have to kind of think like, okay, how am I going to go about this, right? You might be nervous because the nail beds are small, you know, whatever the case may be. This particular client does not have small nail beds. This particular client has larger nail beds, okay? So we need to make sure we have enough acrylic to go ahead and have the strength, but not too much to make it bulky, right? So when you lay that cuticle bead, look at how it just kind of melts into the cuticle area. Don't be scared that it's flooded. It's not flooded. You'll know when it's flooded. You see that? Well, never mind. was trying to point out a little bit of flooding, but that was too quick of a clip. Okay, you see that little area, how it's like outside the nail wall? Yes, fix that, because that's flooding. And then the key to working with clients like this, you need to go in and really tuck it in. I know I always tell you guys, hey, tuck it in. No, really focus on getting it underneath that skin. Do not be scared. As long as it's not running and dripping everywhere, don't be scared. You saw how it melted into that cuticle area previously, right? We need to make sure we are getting from sidewall to sidewall all around the cuticle, because if we do not tuck it in like this, it is going to expose us when we file, because that skin that's there, even though it looks like, oh yeah, that skin, like, oh, it's in good shape now, we're good to go, tuck it in, because that skin is going to further kind of file away. I don't know how else to explain it other than that, right? Because I mean, I don't know, like, I'd have to be there with you to like physically point it out to even more. But don't be scared. It's not flooded. It might look like, oh, it's right up on the cuticle. No, because some of it is actually tucked a little bit underneath, and you'll be able to reach it with your file, because you see how there's still around that eponychium, that little rim of raised skin. Some of that is going to flake away, and it's going to expose more nail. Okay, so once again, if you don't tuck it into that cuticle area, what's going to happen is when you file, you're gonna have like this tiny little ring around your acrylic of just natural nail showing, and you're gonna be like, dang, how did this happen? Okay, so that's not what we want. We want a nice natural look. You don't want to have to be going back in with more acrylic, because otherwise that's what's gonna happen. Well, at least that's what I would do. Go in with the tiniest bead of acrylic and finish filing it later, if you're not able to get the hang of it. I'm sorry, you guys, I'm yawning, I'm tired. I stayed up so late last night trying to recover them freaking clips of that milk bath set. I'm over here trying to manually enter in codes into my computer, following these damn instructions. I'm over here buying software, or attempting to buy software that's gonna get it back from after deleting my trash can. Just random stuff. Oh my gosh. So I stayed up late doing that. Then I figured, you know what, I think, well, actually my boyfriend told me they're not gonna be mad that you didn't upload the milk bath set. They're gonna understand. And I was like, you know what, they're gonna have to, because I'm not paying $85 to recover a clip. I'm sorry, I'm just not. So boom, cuticle area bead. When your beads are the right like texture, consistency, they will melt into that cuticle area, and you just tap along. Okay, tap in, and just let it sit and let it settle. Okay, you don't need to be fooling around too much with your cuticle beads. Okay, just make sure they fit side to side. Anything else, swipe away. I still need to do a video explaining the difference between swiping, patting, tapping, because I like to use a lot of different techniques, and I know a lot of people be telling y'all to swipe, and I feel like it's because of the tips that I use that kind of requires me to use certain techniques. But you know, to each their own. But go ahead and make sure, you see, you got to make sure the apex area is nice, and we want to, because we are tucking it in into the cuticle areas, we need to make sure that it is as still opaque. Because the other thing you might face is, yeah, you tuck some of that in, but then it kind of thins it out around the cuticle. You got to go and make sure that it still remains the appropriate thickness, so when you go ahead and file the acrylic to seal it, it's not going to just flake away and still leave you with the same problem of missing acrylic around the cuticles. Okay, so we're going to move on to filing. I'm showing you guys just this finished filing around the cuticles. Okay, so you see how we're done, right? Now look closely, please. Let's see if I can see. Okay, we can't see all the way yet, I'm sorry. Now look closely, please. So see how I like to angle my finger down. I had to turn up the speed a little bit, because some people that have like this situation with their skin, and skin is a little tough. And now I'm sorry, I'm messing with the settings, because I was like, damn, like, can they see? So here we go. It's gonna be hard to see, but as I'm finished filing, do you see how some of that skin is kind of pushed away, and now it reveals the acrylic that we tucked in underneath there. I'm not purposely going on the skin to remove this. It's just kind of what happens because a lot of that skin is still dead and dry and gone. Well, not gone, it's gone now, but it was just dead skin. So do you see around the other ones? Just take a second, because I'm only working on the C curve, but look at those other fingers from this angle. You can see like on that index finger at the end, there's bits of skin. That's what's gonna get filed away. Do you see? Watch. See how I'm finished filing, going around, sealing the cuticles. Do you see how some of that skin, now you don't see it anymore? You see what I'm saying? I know it's hard to see, but just look, rewind if you have to, look closely and see. You'll be able to see once I'm kind of more done, but see how it's revealing what's underneath. If I wouldn't have tucked it so far, and you don't want it to flood, but you do need it to be tucked in. And that's why it's important to know your ratios of liquid to powder, because it allows you to do stuff like this without having flooding and without it being on, you know, anywhere in the actual skin or too far back, things like that. And if you do not do this, I'm telling you, if you do not do this, you're going to be irritated, because when you file and the skin flakes off even more, it's going to reveal that there is acrylic missing, basically. Okay, so oh shoot. So look, I like to hold the fingers at all different positions, whatever position I need to make this process easier, because I don't want to cut nobody. Okay, so here we go. Once again, the e-file is not on super high, it's just on slightly a notch higher than normal. Oh, that means I gotta get ready for work. So yeah, keep sealing the cuticles, and you can see nothing is flooded, everything is flush, nice, smooth. The skin is gonna further flake away, and this is why I said I'm not gonna keep spending hella extra time trying to cut it all away, using different bits, things like that. This is what I be telling y'all when I'm saying save yourself time and money and hassle. There's certain things, not to say you don't, you can do them if you want to, of course, but just don't feel like certain stuff is necessary. Don't feel like you have to have every single drill bit that comes out. Don't feel, because some stuff it's just naturally gonna happen. Like, that's just what it is, you know what I'm saying? And let's say if her skin wasn't dead skin and it was still like that, it would still have a good result, because it's like sometimes the cuticles kind of shrink a little bit, like once they're pushed off the plate, because some people have that same problem, but the skin is alive, it's not dead, and we wouldn't be able to cut it, and we would have had to still do this process, and it would have, the cuticle kind of would have shrank a little bit. I don't even know how to explain it. There's so much to this nail stuff. That's what I'm saying. All these terms, all these things, go to nail school. I'm not gonna pressure nobody, of course, but literally go, because it's not, you're not any better if you feel like, oh well, I learned nails without nail school. Girl, nail school ain't in there teaching nobody no damn ombre. Them people is old, and them people most likely do not even do nails. Okay, my teachers at nail school, they did hair. They was just cosmetologists, so they can teach anything, because technically they learned hair, skin, and nails, you know what I'm saying? But don't let nobody make you feel less than for going to school, okay? Because I know a lot of people like to do that, like, oh, you went to school, which is kind of fucked up, because I know, you know, like, I went to school, I know so much terminology and all these things. Whether you do or don't go to school, you're still self-taught, okay? I'm just gonna throw that in there, because I hate that word. Oh, self-taught. Everybody do have self-taught. Your own self is the one that have to hold the damn brush, so come on now. But seriously, if you're trying to be serious and you want to open doors for yourself and get far and things like that, go to school. Go to school. It's so much, just so much things you learn that it's like, what? Man, oh man. If y'all knew the if you listen, if you went to school, you know what the hell I'm talking about. This shit crazy, bro. But I really hope this video helps any of you guys that are struggling with different types of cuticles, different types of nail beds. Everybody comes in different shapes, sizes, skins, everything. You got to know how to be versatile. You can't just keep taking clients that are easy peasy for you. You got to learn how to do different clients. Not saying that y'all don't, but I'm just saying you gotta be versatile, because you can't tell people no just because they fingers small or they fingers big, or they, and some people do, and that's their business. I don't feel like it's right because it ain't their fault, but you gotta know. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys the final result again. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and it helped you out some. And you know what, I gotta get ready for work because it's 7:50 in the morning. And as usual, I will see you guys in the next video.